We've got more madness from Trump supporters who always manage to say the most wildly ignorant things. Their justifications never make any sense, and you really can see how much thought they put into their positions. For most of the voting base, it literally comes down to what'll own the libs or what they think will trigger the left, which is hilarious because let a trans woman win a sporting event and look who's really triggered. But they don't care about what guarantees outcomes, which is a huge problem, and that becomes obvious when you have Trump supporters saying things like this when pertaining to gun violence.
No gun-free zones.
Wait, so more guns.
Yep. Can't fight fire with water. You gotta fight fire with fire.
You can't fight fire with water?
Yeah. Depends on what's in the fire.
They specifically do fight fire with water.
Yeah.
And the argument he's trying to make about fire is equally as stupid as the argument he's alluding to of throwing more guns at gun violence as if that'll somehow solve anything. Please show me one study, one bit of data that bears that out. All data actually bears out the usefulness of strict gun laws. States with less gun ownership have less gun violence. Those in possession of a gun are 5 times more likely to be shot than those without a gun. And in all 50 states, those with stricter gun laws have less death to gun violence per capita. There's really no argument to be had for more guns resulting in less gun violence, except for he thinks it'll trigger the left.
You have a construction helmet on right there?
Yeah, I work construction, yeah.
Does it bother you that Trump famously didn't pay a lot of his construction employees?
Who?
In Atlantic City, a lot of the people who worked on his casinos, people lost their livelihoods.
Says who?
The people.
It's just known people.
It is a known thing. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. I'm sure they deserved it.
Trump famously did this with over 200 contractors on his Taj Mahal casino that he then ran into the ground. Quite the businessman. He's been sued thousands of times for unpaid wages. The Department of Labor looked into him refusing to pay overtime. He has a long history of scamming the working class out of what they're owed, union busting to get away with it, and now it's those same suckers pretending that it's in their best interest to vote for him.
If you look at the history of Jesus, it was hundreds of years later before he was recognized, and that's probably the same thing that's going to happen to Donald Trump.
When you see him, the presence that he has in the room, the way he kind of commands the crowd, and the way that
he's been picked by God. Yes.
Yeah. He wears lifts. He wears lifts on his shoes. He wears a lot of makeup. He wears a girdle to hold in, his belly. Is that something God would do?
First off, if you knew anything about the apostles,
yeah,
okay, they were pretty much all trash. All right, they all had their bad qualities, and even Jesus was dating a hooker.
They're not a cult. They're totally not a cult. They just think that Trump should have unilateral control, total control, and that he's sent by God, and they'll justify it by degrading the Bible as well by comparing Jesus to a rapist. But again, totally not a cult, not even kind of.
What are your thoughts on gay marriage?
I'm against it.
Yeah?
Yep.
And why is that?
Because of my religious belief.
And what religion are you?
I'm a Lutheran.
Lutheran. Because in the Bible, Leviticus, if a man lays with a man as he lays with a woman, surely he should be put to death. It's against it there?
Yep.
Also in Leviticus, it says you can't eat pork. Have you ever eaten pork?
A lot.
Okay.
These people like to pick and choose what parts of the Bible they're going to listen to just to justify their homophobia and white supremacy lots of times as well, while allowing others to be written off as unimportant or those don't matter. Like, I don't know, blasphemy, don't eat animals with scales is another stupid one, don't plant 2 different seeds in your fields, don't wear clothes of 2 different types of fabrics. They'll do all those, they're in the Bible, but the only reason they don't want same-sex marriage is because it goes against the Bible. What about adultery? He's going to vote for a man who cheated on his wife and paid hush money to keep it quiet. Is that biblical? Is it? I don't know. What part of the Bible, what about the part of the Bible that supports slavery? Well, hold on, I got to stop myself there. Most Trump supporters probably do support that. So they're staying consistent in their beliefs of that part at least, right?